President Trump is committed to promoting religious freedom wherever it is under threat. That's the word from a top State Department official who is shining the spotlight on one of the world's worst persecutors of Christians, Iran. Correspondent Wyatt Goolsby has the details from the State Department. Good evening, Wyatt.
Good evening, Lauren. The U.S. Special Representative for Iran, Brian Hook, is usually working on issues related to the Iranian nuclear program and Iran's support for terrorism around the world. But today, he took some time to talk with religious liberty advocates and survivors from Iran who endured human rights violations. Hook making his remarks at an international religious freedom roundtable on Capitol Hill. He heard from faith groups including Christians, Sufi, and Baha'i, all minority groups persecuted by Iran's regime. I spoke with a Protestant pastor, Farhad Sabokru. He and his wife and two church workers at the Assemblies of God went to jail for a year for converting to Christianity and preaching the gospel to his flock. His church was ransacked.
برای اینکه رژیم متوجه شده که مسیحیت در ایران به شکل خیلی شدیدی در
Pastor Farhad telling me Christianity is rapidly on the rise, even though the regime doesn't support it. Protestant and other evangelical groups have been building churches in recent years, and he believes that has led to a crackdown. At today's roundtable, officials mentioned religious minorities are seen by the government as agents of foreign countries. Hamid Garagozu is an international organization to preserve human rights.
This has been a losing battle for the regime. The more they oppress and they persecute us, the more the world, the Iranian community, the nation becomes aware. And the level and scale of it is increasing day by day. The taboo has been broken. People have realized that they can stand up to this regime. And it's a one-way street. There's no going back.
There is optimism here that religious liberty is on the horizon in Iran, but it's clear there's still a lot of problems. The Christian advocate group Open Doors USA still ranks Iran as number 10 on their list of the world's worst persecutors of Christians. Lauren?
Right, I understand Secretary Mike Pompeo called out the Iranian regime. What did he say?
Lauren, Secretary Pompeo was responding to threats against the U.S. and Israel by the president of Iran, Hassan Rouhani. Pompeo says Iran is not a friend of America or Israel when they call for the deaths of millions, including Muslims. He says Iranian people do not support their government and that the people have suffered tyranny for far too long. Lauren?
Correspondent Wyatt Goolsby reporting from the State Department. Thank you, Wyatt.